I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
Well, it's over. Twin Peaks: The Return is over. I thought, surely, after part 16, after the return of Special Agent Dale Cooper in all his glory, I thought, surely, we're going to get some kind of payoff. Nope. 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 What we got instead was an hour of very emotional, very powerful television in which Cooper attempts to save Laura Palmer. And then we get part 18. No closure to anything. Literally anything. No closure to Audrey's story, which, judging from Twitter, is what's pissing people off the most. An ending that is bizarrely either setting up a fourth season or more likely bookending the series, the limited series, by hearkening back to the first part, which had what I thought at the time was a genius commentary from David Lynch about the current state of television watching, of movie watching with Netflix and Hulu and Amazon streaming, all of those. This was an infinitely more bitter season of television than even the ending of the original Twin Peaks, where Cooper is trapped in the Black Lodge, Audrey is presumed dead, Benjamin Horne gets his ass kicked by Doc Hayward. Doc Hayward reveals himself to be a maniac. This whole series was a giant middle finger to the audience. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, because that last episode of the original series was a big middle finger to everyone, to audiences, to the audience that abandoned the show because they didn't understand it, because it no longer held their interest. It wasn't what they wanted. They wanted to know who killed Laura Palmer, and the show wasn't showing that. And so they got pissed off and left because they didn't trust David Lynch, or at least that's what he felt. It was a fuck you. Yeah, and that's the only way to put it. It was a fuck you to the audience. It was a fuck you to the production company, the staff that took the series when David Lynch abandoned the series to go film Wild at Heart, abandoned the series to make his own film, and they ran with what was left with the pieces and took it in directions that didn't always work, and he wouldn't have taken it himself. And it was a fuck you to the executives at ABC who demanded that certain things happen, demanded that the killer be revealed. You would have thought he would have learned his lesson. But no, he went back and tried to make Mulholland Drive a television series. Turned out to be a great blessing, because it not getting picked up meant that it became a movie and became his masterpiece. Mulholland Drive is a work of staggering genius. And then he came back for the Showtime limited series. I don't think David Lynch ever wanted to return to the world of Twin Peaks. I think he was just that bitter over the reception of the second season of the series, over the cancellation, over the reception of Fire Walk with Me, which was panned by virtually everybody except maybe the Japanese. Apparently they liked it, but nobody else liked it. It's gotten a critical reevaluation. Maybe he thought it was time. I don't think that David Lynch genuinely wanted to return. And I think that might be why he initially had his little spat over pay or budget with Showtime. He announces the show, then a couple months later says, sorry, it's not going to happen because Showtime doesn't want to pay me what I'm worth. Something to that extent. And then, about a month later, it's back on. And then it opens with a great big middle finger to streaming services, to complacent binge-watching audiences. It strung along audiences all summer for weeks. It was dreadful. It is dreadful. I really don't know what else to say. The series ends with either a call for renewal, which makes little sense considering that everybody said this was a limited series. The ratings, by all accounts, have not been there. They dropped off considerably following the first two parts. On one level, it was an incredible experiment. On another, it was a fantastic director working without a net, working without any kind of boundaries, without limitations, which worked more or less in Inland Empire. I think David Lynch returned to TV quite simply to say, I don't need you. I don't like you. Go fuck yourselves. I was really hoping that I'd be able to say at this point, it was one hell of a ride. It was worth it in the end. That it paid off in the end. And I don't know what I expected. I don't know, aside from I was hoping for Cooper to go home to Janie E. and Sonny Jim and get the family, get the love that Wyndham Earle denied him twice, that the Black Lodge denied him. Give him some peace. It didn't happen. Fire Walk with Me at least ended with a shot of hope and comfort, with Laura finding some kind of peace in her death. The series originally ended with a cliffhanger, but it was a cliffhanger that worked in the context of the series. That evil is a part of the world. That evil may ultimately be better than good. That evil may ultimately prevail. I don't know what the hell this was. I truly don't. And I say this as a long-time David Lynch fan. Twin Peaks: The Return. aside from a few shining moments, was terrible. It wasn't worth it. Twin Peaks, the world, the franchise, would have been better off without it. And that is very upsetting to have to say. Because David Lynch is better than this. And Twin Peaks deserved better than this.
Pomegranate.